Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. I recently went back to Kassel Performance in order to have them flash their tune onto my BMW i8. Now, I was hoping to get some dyno time, but we had some trouble with scheduling, so the only thing I could do was get the flash to the car and then drive it from York, Pennsylvania back to my house here in Maryland. Now, over the past week, I've taken it out on the road several times. I've been very happy with it. No check engine lights, thankfully, so all is good there, and the car seems to perform very well. But the one thing I haven't had the opportunity to do is do a 0 to 60 test, and that's what this video is about today. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications, as I'm constantly posting BMW i8 content and you're going to want the updates. Now, if you've previously watched my videos where I took the car out for 0 to 60 tests, you'll see that I was able to use the Dragy device, and there's a link in the description below on how to get your own Dragy, so definitely check it out. It's very well worth it. It's a small device that just sits on the dash, and you use your telephone and a Bluetooth connection in order to monitor things like 0 to 60 time, as well as quarter mile time, eighth mile time, all the same figures that you would get if you took your car to a racetrack, drag strip, quarter mile, eighth mile, whatever. Now, when I originally bought my Dragy, I put it in the car and I was able to get a 4.3 second 0 to 60 time. Now, 0 to 60 times aren't always the best way to measure your performance in your car, but because I only have access to roads that'll give me a legal limit of 60 to 70 mile an hour, honestly, this is pretty much the only way that I could test the performance of the car. So that's what we're going to do again today. There's links in the descriptions to previous 0 to 60 times on another tune that I've been running, but today is a test of the Kassel Tune. I like to perform independent tests every time I make a modification to the car. So yes, I could take it back to the dyno and do another dyno run, but each time you run the car on the dyno, it could actually give you totally different results for the same exact setup on the car, same map file, same tune. So it's just, for me, easier to go out and do a 0 to 60 pull. So today, some weather figures. It's 73 degrees here on the dash of the i8, 96% humidity, so that's really high. The dew point is 68, and that's why the humidity is pretty high. And I'm seeing a 30 inches of mercury pressure. So we're gonna see what that comes out to for a density altitude in the Dragy app. So I'm currently at about 700 feet above sea level, and Dragy says that I have about 2,100 feet density altitude. So this compares to the original test that I did with the i8 when I first got a tune on the car. I was about 2,000 feet, but I didn't have as high a humidity that I have today. So we'll see how the car performs and then get you the results that you're looking forward to seeing. Okay, first launch, here goes. 60 in 4.02. All right, so we got our first launch done. We're gonna go ahead and drive the car, let it cool down a little bit, maybe make another pass in the same area where I'm at, but that gives us an opportunity to once again measure that 0 to 60 time. And we hit 1G during the shift from first to second, which is awesome. Always looking forward to being able to get that good feeling, a good smack in the butt there on that second gear. Awesome. So yeah, we only had a slope difference of 0.51, which means it's valid. That's good. Density altitude, a little bit over 2,200 feet. No problems there. I didn't feel any type of wheel slip at all. Everything felt terrific. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with those results. All right, I drove around for about 5 minutes and let the transmission cool down because that's required in between launches. I'm now back on the side of the road. I got my DSC turned off. I got my Dragy reset, and we're ready to do another 0 to 60 test. And that one's showing valid too. Got 4.16 that time. Definitely felt the G's. And the seatbelt locked up. Definitely felt the G's on that launch as well. So there's two so far. I'm going to try another one. We did have a tiny bit of an upslope, a 1.64%. So I'm gonna have to drive around, let the transmission cool down. I'm gonna definitely make another pass. That time I got a 4.0. So, and definitely hitting that 1G, 1G on the shift. We got a 4.0 and a minus 0.67 downslope, which is great. I think we're going to be done for today. I think this should definitely wrap it up. So stick around, we're going to go over the results. All right, I'm back at the house, and I'm here to provide you with some more summary information after doing those 3 different 0 to 60 runs. So first off, this is the Kassel Tune. Definitely check the link in the description below, because I had gone to the dyno and I got the car dyno tuned. And we had an increase in horsepower and torque. So on that dyno, on that specific day with these all-season tires, so there's different friction coefficients going on with these, we started with 340 horsepower and 421 pounds-feet of torque. So the Kassel Tune took us up to 358 horsepower and 455 pounds-feet of torque. So that's the data we're working with off the dyno, and that's the tune that's currently on the car. So let's look at the 0 to 60 results that we got today. So let's put up the Dragy results on the screen as I'm going over those results. Our first pass here, we got a 4.02 0 to 60, and if we were to track, we'd get a 3.76 because of that foot rollout. At a slope of 0.51, and we could see the green line on here has a minor upslope, and we could see that the G-force in the orange line, we peaked out at 1G there during that second gear shift, which was great. 0 to 60 time, 4.02, over 192 feet. Now we were at 770 feet altitude, but the DA was over 2,200 feet. So this pretty much compares to the original 0 to 60 time that I ran before. And of course we're showing 68 degrees here. The car was showing 73 degrees and the humidity was high. But all those things factor into performance. So let's look at the second run that I did. And that is showing a 4.16 0 to 60 time. But I had a 1.64 degree upslope. So that definitely had an impact on it. Again, we're pulling about 1G from the shift from first to second. And then let's look at the last run. Now I intentionally tried to find a road that has sort of a downslope to it. So a negative 0.67% downslope gave us exactly 4.0 seconds in a 0 to 60 on 194 feet. Again, we're still seeing that 1G first to second gear shift. So these results are great. Now, one word of caution. I did perform 0 to 60 runs on a totally different tune, but I was on a different road and different weather conditions. So you can't really take this and do a direct comparison to the previous tune that I ran. Obviously, it'd be so much better if I could test this tune and then test other tunes on the same day, on the same road, during the same weather conditions. So all these things have to be considered when you're comparing different tunes. This was simply a 0 to 60 run on this day at this time in these conditions on this road to give you an idea of what performance I got out of the Kassel Tune at those horsepower and torque numbers. So if you want this tune, there's a link in the description below and you can reach out to Kassel Performance, and if you're in the York, Pennsylvania area, they can do the tune for you. Or you can actually pay a little bit more and get on the dyno, and they could tweak your car's map on the dyno. Jim at Kassel Performance, he's a great guy. I really appreciate him for taking the time out, not only to put my car on the dyno, but allowing me to reflash the car back to exactly what he was able to get on the dyno on that day so that I could perform some testing. I hope to do a little bit more testing with this tune, but I have a feeling that no matter what I do, I'm going to be in the ballpark. Obviously, getting on a bigger track and being able to do quarter-mile times or even top speed times would be much more beneficial. But I don't have access to that right now. A lot of the tracks are closed either due to the virus or some of the bigger oval tracks where I can get up to higher speeds. They're just too far away. So this is all I can give you right now. In all honesty, it's really up to you to decide what's more important to you, 0 to 60 times or quarter-mile times, and then do your own tuning and testing. If you have access to a dyno, put the car in the dyno and see what it will do. but be very, very wary of what's happening during the setup procedure and during the dyno passes to make sure that the dyno operator is not doing things in order to tweak his numbers. So if you decide to tune your car, definitely test it out. Don't just rely on dyno numbers. Actually see what it'll do on the road. On the road testing is the best way to test the car and see exactly what will either happen with your times over a specific length, like I did, 0 to 60 times, right? Or if you do have access to a track, you could see whether or not your performance increases or decreases after a modification by timing your lap time. So those are the things you can try out. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing any of that because I just don't have the time, but this will sort of get you started and give you an idea what these different tunes can do. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and ringing that bell for notifications, as I'll be posting more BMW i8 content. Thanks for watching, and happy motoring.